Okay, good evening, folks. Welcome to the show. I'm Francis Sort of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. We want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe, wherever you are this evening. Today is Wednesday, and Wednesday is All Things Considered right here on the Diaspora Informative News Outlet. Liberia Public Radio. Welcome to the show. Whatever you are, just hit the share button for us and we will get this program going. All things considered is perfectly suited to allow you to air your views, your opinions, and concerns, perhaps that we are not touching right here on this network, and we'll be placing the numbers here as well that will allow you to participate into this process. Welcome the man from the boiler room, Mr. Prince Dubber of the Dubber Show, doing an extraordinary job right here in this community. One of the community leaders, Nancy Anderson. Good evening. To welcome Lauren Jackson. Good to have you here. Thank you for your commitment, for your time to this network. And hopefully, as usual, we will have a open conversation here. Some of the news making headlines that claim your attention. Of course, MC Joseph Penge. Hopefully, I'm calling your name right. Thank you. Good evening. To welcome. Please hit the share button for us, just in case if you are watching, just to be able to be quick and say magnanimous to invite someone at your company as well. So, we want to welcome you this evening. This beautiful, beautiful to Wednesday evening here, right here on the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. This is our own way of giving back to the community, having these high core conversation, discussion that sometimes don't really suit your taste, but yet you kept hanging in there and making sure that you are part of this conversation. So that's the great things about it, and so we really do appreciate you for that. And so, on the basis of that, we intend not to sanction people voices, whether we like it or not. It's not about ourselves, but it's about the country, and that is extraordinarily important. We need to recognize that. Not necessarily what we want to hear will be what other person will be saying. So, I mean, we need to understand that we're in a very open and water society, and so people will always have their say. I think the greater thing is to always have everybody included into the conversations of today, because it's Liberia and it is about their country. No one is actually the rightful owner of the country. We all have a shared responsibility, and this is exactly what we need to be doing and what we have to do. So, folks, hey, look, swallow those bitter pills and understand it's about the country, and only is the country. The people of the country, they are talking about the country. They are telling you what they feel, what their own feelings. So we can uh, impose our will on the people and just only say this is what we want to hear about them. And so once they didn't say A and it doesn't go in our direction, then we are now bound to listen to them. I think that is unfair. That's being judgmental, and so we need to open ourselves for this sort of hardcore conversation that at times we intend and we will not agree with, obviously. I mean, it's understandable. So please put on your garment, your bulletproof jacket, or whatever it is, because we are about to get this program on the way. And I'm Alfonso Ziansot of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. Thank you so much for sharing your evenings, your morning, your night with us right here from the Diaspora Informative News Outlet, Liberia Public Radio. Thank you so much. Let's get the ball rolling right here. Right now is 8:08 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's see what is happening here. I'm going to put a number out here today so that you will have a say as well, because there are some things I'm quite sure you want to talk about. Perhaps we are not reaching to those things, and it's not on purpose because too much is just unfolding. So again, just bear with us, and as we discuss the issue, and you will definitely get to know what we are doing. So welcome to the show. Lpr-Tv. Thank you so much, folks, for joining us. Let's get this out of the way here and see if we can have this ball rolling here tonight and see what next for us in today's edition of All Things Considered. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending where you are. I'm Alfonso Z. and Sort of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. We want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. Thank you for sharing this beautiful Wednesday morning evening with us. As usual, every Wednesday we are here, All Things Considered. All Things Considered is perfectly suited to give you a sense of also making your voices heard. And perhaps we might throw the link out there for those of you who also want to talk about your country. It is a country, and I've always said this. Verat, good evening, welcome to Mr. Diat Brown, and of course our own Koto. Good evening, welcome. It's about your country. Do not allow us to run this boat. Do not allow the politicians to run with this plane because they will drive it any way they can. And it might not be in your interest. So we all have to speak about it. So hopefully the panelists or contributors, analysts, they will be here, those who have the time. This is it's a tedious business as well. Coming out nearly every day, 2 hours, that's a lot. You burn a lot of calories. I think it's a free therapy itself. But it's a sacrifice that they are making as well for their country, for their people. So it takes a lot to do what we are doing. And you also doing your fair share by always tuning in every evening, every night to listen. So we will put the number out here much sooner tonight. And if possible, probably the link. And whatever you feel that is been happening and the media is not doing enough to have that conversation, you can also have the opportunity to talk about it. That what makes it All Things Considered. It's every Wednesday. So from Wednesday to Wednesday, even up to this broadcast, if there's anything urgent that pops up that the public needs to know, you need to know, you can share those content with us, and we will also put it out there for the good of our country to have these sort of civil conversations. I am Alfonso Z. and Sort of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. And let me just sound this here. LPR is not a network, I've said this over and over, against the government, for the government, against the opposition, for the opposition. We need to find a playing level field where people will be able to come and speak out freely about how they feel about their country. As long as sort of intellectual engagement, you can disagree with us as anchor and presenter on this network, even to the panelists or contributors. You can agree, we can disagree, you can disagree with our talking point. That is okay. What we would not want to do is to alienate our viewers, our listeners, our followers, because they have said something that does not suit our taste. Again, it is not about us, it is about their country. That's how they feel about their country. That's how they feel about their leaders. And so it is important that these things, they get it out of their chest and put it in the open air for us to figure out what is happening or what is going on. Let's get their inner part. When we begin to suppress people view their opinions because their talking point it's not moving in our direction, it doesn't, it's not compatible with our political ideology, then that's a problem. Then we yet to understand that we are running the sovereignty nations, and it is obviously all of us cannot be on the same page. I don't care what you do, even if you were to take the 3 former presidents of this country, you have to make them president of Liberia concomitantly to say, hey, 3 of you manage the affairs of this nation here. People will still disagree. There will be reservations. So what's about ordinary Liberian or somebody who chose to say, I'm a supporter of the ruling establishment? Will you say because of the person's views, opinions about the government, you will not accommodate that person's talking point? I think that is unfair. And that I don't think it is not a basic of democracy. That's not what democracy represents. The whole thing is about trust. Trust is cardinal in everything and in politics. I tell you now. See what is playing out here in this great nation, the Congress. See what is playing out here. A strong, a guy who is considered as a strong conservative, he's struggling to get a vote. Why? Because certain segments of those in the establishment or beltway just do not trust him. So anybody can come out Liberian to say, well, I don't trust the opposition. I don't trust the government. Will you say because of that, you don't want to do business? I don't think that's who we are, and we intend not to be that way here on this network. As long as we come within the public domains, we are also aware we are vulnerable to being critiqued and also analyzed critically. Having said that, the analysts, the panelists, contributors, they are here this evening, examples, and we're going to be breaking them in. I am Alfonso Zienso, your host and anchor. Welcome to the show. Is getting to be more serious than I thought. Ah, they are here. Let me go to New Jersey, it's California, Saxton, Sacramento, where the most liberal on this network, the most liberal, who doesn't behave like a liberal, he tried to sanction voices, and it is unacceptable. We are not in total. So why would he wants to bring his total ideology here? The guy from the far right, Amos George, a staunch supporter of the opposition Alternative National Congress. I hope our pro-government supporter, who also share the views of the government, will come, Woodton Ketter. I tell you, running behind the CDC people. I don't know what else to do. Probably I need to get a bullhorn and blow let the president understand that the people in the diaspora are unwilling to represent his view. They are just saying they are. So now, let me go to Atlanta, Georgia, and bring in Mr. Amos George. Is here, as usual, strong supporter of the opposition's Alternative National Congress, ANC. The 20K, 70K is still unknown. Investigation continues, endless investigation. Yet they say they are alternative. Let me bring in our contributor, Koto Jalat Balayan, is based in the Garden City of New Jersey, is here this evening. And of course, next to Nancy Pelosi is the liberal, unbalanced, unstable, in multiple places at the same time, still finding the root. Samson Bloku Brown too. Great contributors, analysts, pundits, they are here. Guys, good evening. Welcome to the show.
Good evening, Mr. So. Thank you very much. Good evening, Mr. George. Good evening, Kotu. Wonderful program.
What kind of hell of a fire on your decks there? So why is that? You come in, read the Constitution?
Good evening, Mr. To. Good evening, Madam Kotu and Mr. So.
Yeah. George.
Yeah.
Kotu, why is on the guard desk? Is that the Constitution? The Supreme Court document or what?
It meant told you he having a fire that is
maybe
part of the
maybe the Liberty Party document.
So
Liberty what? Party.
Liberty Party can come out anytime. Maybe that's just portion of the fire there.
Oh. But the people not know him. He's a Liberty Party USA. So what would he be doing with the people document in the first place?
But he paying money. He contributed to the party, so he can be USA, he state member.
You know, the violations of the election law is just over the place. People giving money, everybody. They're giving money, they leave from here, they carry it, they don't make declaration. Nobody knows who gave them money. It's terrible.
But that's the laws that the election commission is supposed to enforce it. The laws are on the books.
So is that why you're violating? Because you're not voting?
I'm not violating, Mr. So. I'm not violating. But if there's a law and the agents are responsible to implement it, it doesn't mean I should violate, but what you want me to say?
Bro, man.
I'm brutally honest.
All right. Hey, Mr. Conto, good evening. Okay, guys, all things considered, from Wednesday to Wednesday, I guess everybody all out there trying to find the fries, the G's, and what is happening. So this Wednesday editions is perfectly suited to just have your own talking point, or even though we drive the narrative, but it's also perfectly suited to have your own talking point to see what is happening in our country and some of the things that we just, I don't know whether it's on purpose, but we just slip by. Let's go to Minneapolis, what our senior contributors, Carlo himself, Cesar Goyot, of the broom guy, the guy he support the man with the broom. But I saw the broom in Barcelona. I don't know whether a man nourished or what happened. Some of the straw drop on the house. the broom, the broom now say is getting empty before the race start. Okay, Mr. Goya, good evening and welcome.
Hey, how you doing, Mr. So? Hi, everybody.
Okay. So here we are. All things considered, I know a lot is unfolding. So we're going to give people the opportunity to see what they have observed out there, and maybe we have slipped over and we need to talk about it. We'll also create the opportunity to also engage the audience by putting the number out there in the sunniest time possible, and they can call and tell us exactly why it is. In the meantime, ahead of the 2023, the president, while they are saying 20 million RIA fund is reportedly missing, blah, blah, blah. The president is going ahead, carrying on inspection tour, PHP. The continuations of Mo Park making the argument he is what? Developmentally oriented guy making things done. So he was all out there again today. All right, he was all out there again today. It's still unsettled within the segment of the coalitions, you know, the MPP wing, James Barney and his folks. They're still in the throat of Vice President Joel Howard Taylor. Chief Siri Allen spoke with our own Lpr-Tv folks in an exclusive as well. And we're going to be having that. We're going to be having all of those conversations. The boy that is reportedly dead. The police say there's no foul play. The family say they are surprised. They are flabbergasted about the police funding. That's a different thing. Except until we can talk to the police and get their side of the story, we will deal with this as it is. Okay, guys, welcome. Interestingly, I shared information in the chat group today. A former senator who asked us to have this private, but he planned to come out at some point in time of his disappointment. He, as a former senator, former oppositions, and what is happening within the oppositions, he's scared to death. And that is cool if it remains like this and no one becomes the big ball in the house. That could be it. Heartbreaking news, because this president and the coalition could possibly have a second term. Let's spin around the room here and see some of you guys what you have. The guy with the dossier on his file there. Let's see what he's having a banner of how you call it? Banner of what? Error or how you
Unforced error banner.
Unforced error. From who is that? From
CDC and the president we are.
Nothing there for the opposition?
No, they have not. They a couple of unforced error, but those are minimum stuff that can be overcome.
Who determines that?
I do.
Not the audience, not the public?
No.
Oh, so you set your own rail line?
Yes, it's my rules, my views, and now I'm in charge of it. They can disagree with me, but they don't have to tell me what and how the view have to be implemented. So let me just go on. If I'm first in line, yeah, I'm very excited this evening.
I saw the people.
I'm very
lawsuit against me.
I'm very excited this evening, and in fact, all day. I got to work very early this morning, as usual, and I decided to peruse the internet, the social media, and I went through Front Page Africa, and what I saw was very, very much exciting. And not only that, it brought a lot of emotion. And I'll just read a caption of Front Page Africa. Liberia Deputy Speaker J. Volunteer Kofa named among 100 most reputable African, 36 on the list. I was so excited, with all my emotion running through me, I called him right away. And he didn't hesitate. I called Kofa, the speaker, deputy speaker. I called him right away. He knew what. Oh, Brother Samson.
Who you quote again? Front Page Africa?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. I just want to find out the research credential of the group. Okay.
See, that's one thing I like about you. And this one, I can really nail you. If it's in your favor, Front Page Africa is being quoted. If it's not in your favor, then Front Page Africa research process is somehow questionable. But let me go on with my. But please don't spoil my joy here. I beg you.
No. But let me just say for
no, Mr. George. I'm not spoil my joy. I beg you.
Okay, guys, let's give him a chance.
Let me express my joy.
I didn't get something clear. Did you say for Natiko answer you?
Let me get my thing clear. So I read this thing. The very first thing I did was place a call, and they ring 1 or 2 times, and he picked up Big Brother Samson. I said, Honorable, congratulations. I'm very proud of you. And I'm very, very excited about this news. Congratulations. Okay, Big Brother, thank you. I said, okay. That's all I call. That's it? I say, yeah. Oh, okay. And then I hung up. But the reason I'm bringing this up is to be as a human being and someone who also believes that the redeeming factors in human being is much, much more important than anything else. Few years back, Flati, as a friend and brother, was down, and none of any other person making but his own. And he was able, in fact, in our Liberty Party group at the time, he has some brilliant, and he's a very brilliant guy. He has a brilliant ideas, but there were other people that were questioning his association with Bronsky and that of Liberty Party because of his past. And so people were making fun of him. Fast forward, he left from here, went to Liberia, showed up the burden of Liberty Party for years, and finally decided to join CDC. When the time came, let me go back a little bit. When the time came to go to Grand Crew, I remember that conversation, and then I was encouraging. And but the fear has always been that I've been away for so long. Well, go down there, and you will find out. And as God could have it, he went, they accepted him. And to see today, this young man, brilliant guy, went and took the bar, Liberian Bar Association, came #1, does the entire process. But anyhow, to see him maneuver his way positively now through the House of Representatives, became deputy, and quite frankly, and I truly believe that within the next section, he's most likely will be the Speaker of the House of Representatives. But besides that, for his contribution, for whatever things that he's doing that attracted foreign-based researchers group to come and do an analysis on him and place him above the artifact, Lena Boy, who came 47, and to place him even above other personality. I thought that was very exciting for somebody that I know. That was very exciting. I really, really appreciate it. So basically, before I place a call to him, I put my hand on my heart and say, all that Fulati have done to me has been forgiven. I no longer hold anything against him. One of the reasons was when I went to Liberia and the late Ella Lauren died. Ella Lauren to
Okay.
clean somewhere else. Hold on, Mr. Soot. The people have to, don't just okay people on the show. I mean, these are things that are important. We're not here just to bash the opposition and bash we're talking about Liberia. This is a leader. Let people know who he is.
Yeah, but now listen,
people, hold on. A few days ago, you came up here and said, and people you guys were talking about his past. So I'm telling you now that besides his past, he also have reputation that need to be protected. And those of us who are friends with him, give us the opportunity on this huge platform for us to explain to you who he is, not just the past. So let me go on, please.
Yeah, but let's get it right. In as much you're going to go with your dossier about your friend, about your patron, we also have a time. So we're not going
That's
to...
right, but you give me the time because other people are going to come on here and you're going to give them more time than you're giving me. So please, let me, please just give me the time and then I can, even if you want to excuse me, I can excuse myself. But today is a wonderful day for me. So, like I said,
we are not going to use your wonderful day for
whatever it is, however way you want to classify. I just want you to know that beside Fulati Kofa record that you guys keep holding over his head, he's a decent human being. Not only a decent human being, he's a good representative. Not only that, he's also a friend. So when we sit here, sometimes it's difficult for when you guys bring up his past, it's difficult for us to talk about it, some of us. But when we see some positive thing coming from him, I want to blow the horn, and I will take the LPR time to blow his horn as much as possible. Thank you very much.
So that his certificate papers, then you brought that so? Okay. Hopefully we will, keep time. We will observe our talking point in as much you want to be lengthy in our conversation, but let us be mindful we're here at a specific time and everybody got to get a share of the pie. All right. Amos George, what are you considering this evening?
Oh, okay. I'm looking at during the Christmas season, 2 young Liberians got killed, allegedly died anyway. And those are some of the issues I'll be looking at. And the $30 million on the Liberian, the Ralphie Highway Road funds. But I just want to tell Mr. Two, we did not create any record for Funati Kofa. He did his act. And he was found guilty of his act. So if we talk about it, it's not that we're against him. It's something that he did and went through the legal process in America, and he was found guilty. He served time. So you can't say when you're talking about him like that. No, we're not talking about him like that. It was something that he did, and he went through the justice system here, and he was found guilty. So it's not story that we made up upon him. He brought it onto himself. So don't make it sound that we were making our story against this man. And I just want to say, no, yes, I don't know. The Yardstick they used to put him at that category, they got their own thing because just the World Bank said our economy will grow 5%, but the people cannot feel the impact. So those are some of the things. But I just want to clear that part out. We never created lies on Funati. It was his doing, and the records are there. And some of us said that you said that he's not a criminal in America. You were convicted criminal in America. You said that. And someone said, no. Once you're a criminal, you're a criminal. Once you're a criminal, you're a criminal. Once you're convicted, you're convicted. So it can be here. You go to Liberia, that record is still there. That's what someone said. You may disagree with that your friend, but that's the hardcore truth.
You want to defend yourself against what you said before?
Of course. First thing, Mr. Central Right,
You
and I'll
really
make it
guys
very
don't
brief.
do it
I'll make it very
before.
brief. I'll make it. I feel bad right now. This other one, I feel bad about it because I think I will make it brief. Mr. Central Right, I think when I spoke earlier, I said his doing was his own. I said that. I'm not blaming anybody. What I stated was when we come on this platform, that when Fulati Kufuor's name is mentioned, his past is done. I mean, it's also mentioned. So fine, good point. But then we should be given the opportunity now to tell you that he has done wonderful things. His name is now being recognized all over the world as one of the best, if not the finest, Liberian son of Liberia. So please, I just want to make that point. But go ahead, have your show.
No, I'm done though, because other people got to talk. I'm not going to take 15 minutes.
Okay. Koto, Sese is literally going out of breath, so I'm going to give him a break because I think it's going to be a ballistic one, maybe the one that Russia is firing on or Ukraine. I think it's going to be a little one. So, Koto, good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Mr. So, and good evening to all of you here. Good evening to our Liberians here and around the world and in Liberia. I want to say I'm glad to be in the midst of you guys today in discussing the issue of Liberia.
Okay. This is all things considered. Perhaps there are other things during the course of the week, during our programs, we don't touch on because of time, not on purpose. Or perhaps there's something you want to give a run through. Is there anything that caught your attention during the whole week, during today, and we didn't just talk about it because of time? You want to hit on it?
Yeah, it is something, I don't know whether we have actually discussed it or we haven't touched it, but it is an issue that needs to be discussed. It is about, I have come to realize that people have now, known the achievement of the past government as compared to the present government. So in that line, they are left in judgment, that they made that they do not know because they are ignorant maybe, or they are not aware of these things. And it takes me back that, and because they are not aware and they are not educated on it, it makes them to think that these things did not happen. And so it makes them to like think that there have been no existence of these things in the past. For example, I did not know that, and I say here I've seen talk to 3 persons, one-on-one. Sometimes we get off the show, some people call me or we get into some argument in it and we kind of like go through them before they realize, oh really, this happened. And it comes to a point where people have not known the achievement of Ellen as compared to Josh Weah. So they come out to say Ellen was in power for 12 years and Ellen didn't do anything. And some people come and say, Josh, we are not doing anything. But we should be realistic to say, this is what Ellen did, and this is what Ellen did not do. This is what Josh Weah is doing, and this is what Josh Weah did not do. So in that, then you make judgment based on what have been done and what have not been done. But I realize that most of our people do not know the achievement, and because of that they make judgment based on people hearsay. And we know that we have most of our people that have not been opportune to read, or some problem that they do not know how to make the research on these things. And I think they rely on us, like show like this, to come up with these things so that they can be knowledgeable to them. When they're making judgment, they will not say, oh, this person didn't do anything. I was surprised. And the last one that really touched my heart was to find out that Riverset Pro did not know that Ellen built the streets of Monrovia. I was shocked by that. He did not know that Ellen built the hospital in Tapeta. I was shocked by that. So many development that will carry on in Monrovia or Liberia that he was not aware of. So it's like, he was like, I'm shocked. I didn't know these things. But again, I don't know, we have the time, but I mean, if we could have the time to sometime tell, come up with some of these things that our people know.
So in essence here, before I go to Sissy, there seems to be a general perception out there that Helen was Helen and the Unity Party was misjudged.
Exactly.
Okay.
Some people like we know that a lot of people left out of Liberia because of the war, and in the interim, some came back and did not know what the level of destruction that will carry on in Monrovia and its environs and the various counties. So things that they are seeing now, they don't know whether it was who it was done by, or who leadership it was done by, or who initiated these things. So with that said, right now they hear, oh, Ellen didn't do anything, so they just believe it. Okay. So those
Okay.
are, yeah.
I think Helen is out of the picture. Anything we do now is just our history to
Yeah,
see, to
yeah.
take a
So if
reflect.
we didn't do it, now they're making judgment based on that. Ellen left in power 12 years, they didn't do it. So
Okay.
again.
Let me go to Sissy Goyot. He's been flipping in out there, going out of breath. Sissy Goyot, good evening and welcome.
How are you doing?
Great.
So first thing on my mind is that Tiawan Gonglo just got back to Monrovia sometimes today after hosting 53 town hall meetings, 53 town hall meetings,
The three?
5-3 in Grand Bassa and Riverside counties, with in towns and villages that are not accessible by vehicle. So we're excited about that. We're hoping now that he's done with Nimba, he's done with Grand Bassa, and a huge part of Bung and River says we're going to start focusing on other places, which is the interaction with the people, trying to make sure that the people are a part of the governance ideology on how we move Liberia forward, that people have a seat at the table, and we're not giving only the loudmouth folks to be at the table, and we're not bringing these big belly Hebrew boys at the tables, but we're going to every village and every nook and every cranny of the of the country to reach out to people and let them have their say. Another thing that's striking me is that we're looking at the implosion of the ruling coalition. You talked about Chief Cyril Allen. I did listen to his entire news conference. The issue with the NPP and the issue with LPDP, the Tyler Party they have not signed to re-sign to continue their collaboration with the ruling party, which is a problem. So I know I saw today, President George, we are going to PHP. My only thing I can say about PHP is remember Robert Salif. Robert Salif built a lot of hand pumps in PHP, thinking he was going to win an election. When he lost them, he went and put chains right back on there. George Weah might end up going back to PHP to take all of those things back, because the people in PHP cannot be fooled by a last-minute developmentally oriented person who's lost every elections since they won 2017. Every special election, by-election, midterm election, anybody who says they raised the lost. So we shouldn't be here trying to pretend like the ruling coalition is in a better seat. One thing I want to point out, though, last night, I wasn't on the show later, but I heard you, Mr. So, begin the conversation with that. So I wanted to put something out that I agree with the laborer last night. Why it is true that we come on these platforms and we take our time to come here and discuss issues and sometimes back candidates, it does not give anybody the license to come on and insult people. I'm more than willing to sit there and allow for free exchange of ideas. I'm more than willing for people to come and disagree with me and disabuse me of my position, but it has to be done without you resorting to insulting me. This is not a job that I get paid for. This is not customer service that because you call Wells Fargo, you can insult me, but because I work there. So I think, Mr. So, why it is true that we can allow people to come on and express their views, I think you as the moderator ought to be able to protect your panelists that you bring on here, so that we make sure that our callers, why it is true that we appreciate their call in, that they're not abusive or insultive to people that are on the platform. I actually was taken aback last night by that call, and I appreciate for the first time that a liberal pushed back hard on there, because I did not sign up to come on here for somebody to disrespect me and to call me out of my names. Having said that, the liberal, We here defending our own criminals again. This is what this comes down to. We here, I understand when you said that the how you call it, the redeeming characteristics. We usually want to Christianity and its redeeming characteristic. And I want to quote something for you that Denzel Washington in the movie Out of Time said. He said, "Judgment is between them and their gods. My responsibility is to arrange that meeting between them and their God." Look, when you stay here and you steal, that's what he did. He stole. I was just Googling Fonatu Kofa while you myself were on. That thing where you say people know him all around the world is not anywhere on the internet. Except you go to the front page and they will not even show you how it was done. Because most of these things, what they do is, my man, vote for the person to be there number one. Vote for the person. So they share it out to so many emails. And
they all support us.
Gmail email addresses, you can vote on it. Why didn't they lay out? Because I read the article, they didn't lay out how they came to that. So I just Googled Fonatu Kofa. The top 10 things that came out is about his court cases and his jail term and everything. This is a guy that we're hoping will be the Speaker of the House. And
10 persons in the country.
And we have change. The last time we were here, when this situation happened with the Liberian diplomats in Korea,
South Korea,
that are somehow related to Jay, and Jay was on here trying to excuse it. I pushed back and I said, "Yo, man, I apologize. I feel for you that's the guy, but we cannot be here trying to excuse rape. We cannot be here trying to excuse people going and paying for teenage prostitution. We can't be here trying to excuse Fonatu Kofa. He stole from his clients. That plain and simple. The man is a thief. So I don't know what redeeming character. Just the last time people were accusing him of getting involved in illicit mining, he had to come out to clarify that. So I don't know if one article posted by the Wikipedia of Liberian journalism is enough to say this is something. Now this man is a redeeming character. We hear every day talking about theft in government offices, yet we want to elect our own thieves because they are closer to us, so we're willing to forgive them. I guess our forgiving power in Liberia is dependent on the proximity of the sinner to us. The closer you are to me, the easier it is for me to forgive you and for me to massage your history. And the further away you are from me, the harder it is for me to see your redeeming character. Fonatu Kofa is a thief. That is a fact.
Is that your conclusion with the next speaker to be the chairperson of the
next speaker to be is a thief? And his
I will push back on this because I will push back, Mr. Central
Hold
Right,
on
please.
1 second. I'm going to come to you, bro. You're going to push. You want to push? You want to push
Yes,
all of us
yes,
out?
with facts. I've always stated on this platform that Sisse he's feisty, but he's factual. And so when it comes down to that, sometimes it's difficult to push back. But tonight, my son, you are not factual. Not by all means. Go back again. Google Reputation Poll International announced 100 most reputable Africans in 2023.
They didn't say anything.
Oh, Lord, Central Right, the liberal is on the floor. You cannot try to bamboozle me in being silent. No.
What is the name of the organization again?
Reputation Poll International.
Okay.
And you will see Fonatu Kofa picture is right there with many Africans. Now, I do agree with you that Fonatu Kofa.
I'm sorry, did you say repetition pool? What? Sorry.
Poll, P-O-L-L, International.
Okay,
You got it?
thank you. Okay, thank you.
And you will see his picture. Now you'll say, Mr. To, you're right for once.
Oh
Just
no,
say
you're
it
not
now.
right. You finish. Let me come back. Let me come back. Finish.
Okay, but you told us you couldn't find it. Now you can find it.
Mr. Toy, you done? Because I want to update it. I
Okay.
want to learn. When you're done, let me know.
All right, okay. I'm not here to discuss Florentine. Honorable.
You brought it up, so
I
you
am not, Mr. Nothing politician, Minnesota politician, nothing liberal that people cannot depend on. The nothing label. This is exactly the point here tonight. Now you are now getting ready now. But anyhow, that's besides the point. Let me just say this. Why I agree with you. Florentine Kofa situation, and I call it situation because he was accused by a government and adjudicated and found him guilty. But what you are not mentioning is that he has already paid his due. And in our let me finish, let the liberal finish, please. In our society, law-abiding society, if you are accused and given certain punishment, the punishment is done. Once that is done, you now becomes to redeem yourself. First, you do it within you, between you and your God, which he has done. Then the second thing you do is to find another redeeming factor between you and the society, which he has done. Follow more. Florentine Kofa, Honorable Florentine Kofa, as far as I'm concerned, he continued to redeem himself by making all of us as Liberians proud, putting us on map. So you can come out and say he stole 500,000 or even stole chicken. It's important. But at this particular time, these people that wrote this thing, I'm sure they were not bribed by Honorable Florentine Kofa. They must have sent people to Liberia to do a research because all of reputable important personality in Africa, they are on here. So you cannot dismiss this whole organization because why? Florentine Kofa is on there. Now, you can come out and tell me that they did this and you know much about research than I do. So perhaps they must have done other way. But what I do, what I'm saying is what I'm reading right now. So you can say all you want to say, Florentine, Baku, you do it. You do it well.
Can I really correct the liberal real quick? I did not say that Florentine Kofa was not online. I said when I Googled Florentine Kofa, the top 10 that came out was about his thievery, his stealing from his client. The next thing is when you brought out this organization name, you know what what we do in research in academia, you look at the source and see if it is credible or not. So I didn't even go looking for Florentine Kofa. I went looking for the source, the group. When you go to the group website, you look at them. They say Reputation Pool International is a strategic consultancy agency specialized in corporate reputation management. They are in the business of managing people's reputation. What that means is they get paid for play. They can even come out and write a good thing about Charles Taylor and Prince Johnson. They are in the business of reputation management. Look, sometimes it's okay to
I don't think you're looking at the same thing.
Our reputation.
No, you are not looking at the same thing because this group is a group that is free.
Yes, that is the group. Look at their website.
It's a company. Yeah, right.
It is a company. It's on their website. Look at their. It said about us. Look at their about us. They will tell you they're in the business of reputation management.
I don't know what. Go ahead.
So when these Wikipedia resources come out, I am always push back on them. Florentine Kofa, as is well known internationally, is a thief. And the next thing you say in this country, when people pay their dues, when they serve their term, then they are redeemed. And I would disagree with you. As a felon, Florentine Kofa, if he was staying in America, he would not be allowed to vote. So his rights would have been diminished as a felon.
You finished?
Yeah.
Can we move on? Because this show is not about Florentine Kofa.
I don't know why.
No, the issue came up, and these are the people that are in the charge of our government and are in the law making and today making our laws. If they have these problems and we stay elect them, and this is the problem we have. Most of our representatives and senators, they are from either in what they call corruption or rebel leaders, and these are not clarified. And we have them in leadership. The thing is, they are going to still tear down these problems and continue to come and be leaders for us tomorrow. That is compromising our people today. That corruption is not considered in our country. That killing is not considered in our country because there have not been actually a stand taken against them. And if we continue to compromise them, the country continue to be compromised. We sweep these things under the rug. And these are issues that need to be actually tabled. We discuss it and let people know about it. We should not be hiding them. We shouldn't be.
And the Liberal brought his own guy in the public here this evening.
No. I brought to praise him, and my praises stands. Nothing you and your group will say here that would diminish this person high-earned reputation. And this person, you and your group.
No,
this person, redeeming factor. Nothing you and your group will say to diminish that, and nothing you and your group will say for me to agree with you.
So, Mr. To, excuse me.
Let's do it one at a time.
Okay, this is the problem we have with Prince Johnson. Prince Johnson has said that he has been changed. Right now he's a pastor, and besides, we should not take him to the law, of Liberia or the criminal code.
War crime code.
So, war crime code. Can we say that he's clear? Okay, and saying he shouldn't go to the war crime code. So these are nothing. Let it be clear that these people committed this act, and it should be even taken away from high offices that would discourage the repetition of these acts. But if we stay meeting them there, other people will be, happy or given a chance to come in high offices.
Yeah. All right. I'm kind of a little bit, I don't know. And then that's why sometimes people always frown at front page, because some of these things, when it comes out, you need to go extensive beyond what has been reported. I'm concerned. If you're talking about somebody, that's your friend, that's your buddy, maybe the conversation is taking place between you guys, and the next
wait a minute before you come out with your dossier
you're gonna
on
talk.
this.
Why
You're basing your comment on what Cece Goya said. Let me read something to you very quickly.
I'm not I'm looking at. Can you give me a chance, please?
Cece left out some of the mean thing. This is what it said. Repetition Poor International is a strategic constituency agency specialized in cooperation repetition management. Hold on. Management. Now, we help our client achieve the objective by communicating more effectively with their customers. Now, let me tell you.
They achieve the objective.
No, but wait a minute. If they're managing, even if you said that, you're also indicting this organization. So what if they're there to manage? Does it mean they're making up stories?
Look at the word our client.
The thing is, they're not making up stories, but that's why that's their job. You see, even here, when people have their credit record is diminished, what do? We go to an institution.
Okay, guys, let's make a progress.
To manage it.
The only reason I was concerned, because when he said soon to be the next speaker potentially, then that's the number 2.
He will be. Whether you like it or not, he will be.
But Liberia is good at making news at that. So it's not strange to Liberia.
Wow.
This is really
I don't even
unique.
see the basis, and what I said front page. I don't know what their own investigations. I don't see the basis to say here. Instead of they're putting door pictures here for the people 11, 100 most influential. On what basis? Where was the competition? How was it created? Okay, let's come back to baseline. Thank you. Libra, is that your only talking point for tonight?
I'm ready. I'm ready for all of you. Y'all bring it on tonight. I'm ready for all of you. All of you. All of you. The liberals ready for. I thought something good, my friend. Then y'all come here to chastise me. I'm ready for y'all. I'm ready. Y'all
Yeah,
bring it
Mr.
on.
Too, I know. I understand he's your friend, but this is a character he has.
Yeah, but even if that's a character, what I'm trying to tell you is that.
Liberal, can you read this for me, please?
Whatever. They don't bother me. I'm not in the business of reading comments from our audience anymore. So whatever he wrote there, that's fine with me. But here's the point that I'm making:
Oh my goodness,
if somebody
this guy,
redeemed
man.
themselves,
Yeah.
if somebody redeemed themselves, the brothers and sisters should see that and encourage more.
To do
But
what?
instead, that's one thing about you, Liberian. Your Liberian, you're full of all kind of yama. The man come out and make us proud. Let's praise him.
How,
So that he will do good. But
Mr.
instead,
So,
you're going way back
Mr.
19 week to bring out something that
Mr.
happened.
So,
Who in Liberia,
Okay,
the
guys,
president, the
let's
people
have a
right now, the
conversation.
people who
Can I
are
have one
leading you
question?
right now,
How
they're
has he
stealing
made us
your money
proud?
left and right.
How has he made us proud?
Excuse me?
How has he made us proud? How?
By his name being appeared over on this.
In a massage. Come on, Mr. Too.
Mr. So, let's go. Mr. So, let's move on because this. I
Oh
want to.
boy, I'm suffering from serious migraine right now.
I hope you guys are telling not around you. Or tell something to Milton to you.
Oh no, when I ask him, he will be finishing me off. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna ask him to say anything.
Oh,
Okay, guys. All things considered, just what you said, I have the video back there. In the midst of all of this, like Mr. George on the talking point, the missing boys allegedly been murdered. I heard a little bit deep story of one of those, the one that happens, Shuffling area there, how you want to visit. In fact, I know the family that he really went to.
Yeah.
But you know the story, we can't make our own argument when investigators say this is what happened. Who am I? I do not have any medical report to other kind of disargue that. But let's come back to baseline. In the midst of all of these things, the president is still taking, demonstrating, illustrating his ability of being in charge of, with this help. Let's watch this video here. We're going to make conversation proportional as usual. I'm Alfonso Z and sort of the Liberia Public Radio. And let the engineers tap into this.
Be a gym. Yes, in these are the contractors. They will build a gym here. There will be a gym, and this is the vision that will forever be remembered in the history of Liberia. You have a president that is far-sighted. You have a president that is looking beyond the ordinary. You know, this place for years. They been here for years, record ages, but nobody could think about utilizing this place, especially with this privileged community in PHP. It took a Joshua, who many of you consider that he could not do anything, but is
okay. Let's get it off here. It's election time. Human eyes very sensitive. Eyes always hit on objects and say, "Oh, this is quite fascinating. This is attractive. This is something is good." But one of the things that I listened to the commentary with Calasco, which I thought maybe this is State Broadcasting Corporation who have done that there will be a monument be erected in honor of the tech team person. He said, in honor of the tech team people that were put on the pole. That is significant. Now, with this here, is there a appealing message to the voters? This is who I am. The people say I'm not doing anything, but here we are. I'm about to get this project going. They say it will be more than the Invisible Park. There will be a lot of things. Any appealing message in that, guys? It's a workable strategy.
Mr. So, the park is all right. But let me start something here. I don't know whether Carrasco was born when the coup took place. Or did he? I don't know what he ever read anything about a coup. You know, for him to be talking about the Iraq movement order for 13 people that were executed at the time, it just showed these people behavior that someone they don't understand what they're talking about. Do you know how many ordinary person that died in that mansion? Do you really know how many person died that were working, serving the president of Liberia, that died in that mansion? That he cannot even mention none of those people, but only 13 people. It's sad. When we're talking this thing, we must go and do some research and see the history before coming out to make some of these statements. These 13 people were killed. Yes, they were human beings. But what about the ordinary people? Flomo, Tupac, all of them that lost their life performing the official duty on the ground of the executive mansion. And any of them mention any of those people? Not by name, just to say, oh, there were people who were working there that night, who went to work and the family never saw them, and today none of them can give account about. Do they think on this kind of thing before making no kind of statement? So I just want to leave it there. The PHP pack, good. But again, when people are saying there's some of the remark they make, this is the first time in the history of this country. Everything George Weah does is the first time in the history of Liberia, according to their supporters. And then I wonder, it makes me to wonder, it said we only see the present, and or because we will like you, we discount all the other things that other leaders did in the country. And we gave you that crown that you're the only person that have done so. Somebody can build the SKD Sports Stadium. So today, when Joe Wilson say being another football field, they say he's the only president. And to the point they go to, I mean, this is a serious problem in the country today. I heard one of the former ministers saying, Joe Wilson is the only person that has sent Liberian abroad to study. And I'm like, where is this person coming from? And somebody called me and we were talking. I said, look, let me tell you something. I said, Talbot, do you know how many students Talbot sent to the former Soviet Union? And when they came in after that, those are returned. They let Dr. Bati, Lieutenant Bati. They let the guy, one Henry Pachibo was from Grand Gita. He had a master's degree from Soviet. They went on the scholarship that Talbot sent. They came in during the war. Henry Pachibo. Dr. Seaton, Dr. Boyce, all these people were Talbot sending. But the people, when they're talking to them, the medical analysis and historical thing, they just put it into, oh, George, we have done this thing. Yeah, the fee is good. But again, is the invisible park. When it rains, what happened there? The whole place get flooded up. Whole place get flooded up. So building this thing is good. But how durable is it? Is it just to put it there because you want to impress a certain group of people that, oh, you're doing this thing? I'm not an engineer, but the visual park, during the rainy season, the people are there showing all the water. People could not use it. Then the engineer came back, oh no, we have to do this, we have to do this. So, yes, it's good. But is it durable? Will it be durable? The money that being put in there, will it be countable to say, yeah, this money really, we got a bank of our money? And Samson told they play football on PHP fee. So
They're very full of trouble.
but you can't tell me a lie.
So,
PHP fee.
What's about the whole poke on A here? Let's talk about A here, because he was very specific. And I'm just judging on based on what he has reported. I'm not sure. I didn't see on the executive mansion website or official statement from the government to say this is XYZ. You have over 200 some more other people that died during the civil crisis. I don't know whether in any way, any form, we have ever memorialized those people. It has not happened. Probably somebody is not getting that. I'm not saying those people, those former government officials, I don't think that should have been the way to have gone. But again, when military takes over, all sort of crazy thing goes on before even the dust can be settled. Even talking about that, there's a guy, Samson should know him, who was an AD, I think from Total. AD came to the president. He was also killed. And a lot of people died into that. Yeah. Sissy.
Yeah, I think that was going to be
necessary. You think?
Look, I don't like to politicize a lot of things, right? Because some things should just be way above politics. My only caution here is that I hope this is not another Chinese skin tight. You know, you wear a farm, but when you made a mistake, you hold one road, the whole thing can fall apart.
Chinese what? Skin tight? Yeah, God,
I'm saying this to say that I hope they've learned from the mistakes that happened with the Invisible Park, because this place is much closer to the Atlantic than the Invisible Park is, and so will be a lot more susceptible to flooding. So I hope they put in medication stuff. Now I have medicating stuff to make sure that doesn't happen. Now, having said that, though, anytime the president, the head of the republic, undertakes a measure geared at reunifying people and trying to heal old wounds, I am one person that will always applaud that president, whether or not I agree with all the other policies they run. So I would say thank you to Dr. George Weah for this. I would have hoped that this was going to be opened up to get some public input, because my input would have been, it is very good to have a monument standing that talks about that overthrow, and that people can go to, and there's a history written there. There's somewhere you go and they tell you about the coup. Equally so, I think in that same place, it could be a memoriam to things falling apart, so to speak, where you can also have a wall to commemorate the deaths of so many Liberians during the civil wars. If we want to count from 1985, that's fine. If you want to count from 1989, that's fine. But up until Taylor left the country, there are a lot of people who lost loved ones. And for me, in my mind, all lives are equal. And while we are at it, we should seek to find, we might not, but we should at least put effort into finding the burial site of the late President Samuel Doe and exhume the remains of the late President Doe and give it a befitting state funeral. If we cannot find that, at minimum, there should be a statue to the former president in that same PHP area. Love him, hate him, indifferent. He was the president of the Republic of Liberia. He played a major role in unseating the the True Weak Party government. He was brutally murdered. Whether or not we say he committed crimes, whatever he did, we can all agree to disagree on those things. But he is pivotal in trying to bring back peace and reconciliation to our people. I think if the president had opened this up to public input, that would have been my input. Mr. President, this is a great idea. This is a great view because this goes a long way in trying to maybe silence the people who always say that you are divisive, that you brought this Congo versus indigenous thing, and you're trying to show people that that is not a true person George Manawia is. I get it. I appreciate it. This is a good idea. I would have just hoped that maybe it would have been opened up to the public, and those would have been my input, Mr. So. Those would have been my input. Just include a little bit more in there and make it a memorial where people can go to. Everybody can go to. The people who lost their lost one of those 13 people that were shot can go there and find some peace or go somewhere to try to at least reconnect with history. The people who lost, like us, a lot of our relatives and families and friends during the protracted civil wars can have a place to go to, because most of the people don't have burial sites, but you can go to a memorial for them. So for me, I would have hoped that, those will be included. But again, nothing has been written on the e-national site. So we're just going by what
Carrasco is, and this is the same because usually these things take but you kind of like it's a little bit restrictive yet. I'm a free thinker yet. You talk about though. Is there any other president you want to talk about? What's about Toba? There will be other free thinker on the other
the
side.
only reason why I said that was because when people usually talk about the 13 people that die, if you listen to people argument most time, they don't tend to talk a lot about Toba. I do agree that the president Toba should also be central in that narrative. He should be central in that.
Should he also be given a fitting burial?
Absolutely. If we can, up to this time, I don't know if it will be possible to find his remains, but he should definitely, along with President Do, be the central figures in that park. That be given, if the remains cannot be found, at least have a monument to them so that our children and our great-grandchildren can go there. This is where history will live for them. They can go there and find out who were the major actors in the Liberian crisis.
Let me go to this caller here quick, and then Amos Joy Cotto, the Liberal, are going to be coming to you. From Connecticut here, I believe, 203. Are you there, caller?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's see. I don't know that much. Okay, go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah. Check your volume. Check your volume too. Go ahead.
This is one of your contributors, Wilton Keta. I'm just driving. That's why I didn't call in. I'm on the show, so I just
hold on 1 second. I don't know why the volume so. Hold on. Let me see. Try something.
Hello? I'm using Lone Star number now.
Hello, Keta?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so I just want to give Citizen some information and speak about what Pat George said about that part, right? If you know the historicity of that part, as not talking about Liberia crisis, the president traveled to Senegal and he saw a park similar to the one he built. So he said, I will mimic this park in Liberia. And then he thought about the historicity of our crisis, our entire crisis in the country. That park, there's a monument that will be erected in that park. That monument will talk about the 4 different problems that existed in our country that caused our country to come down to its knees. Prior to the settlers coming, there will be a monument erected. When they came, what they did to the indigenous people, there will be a monument erected too. Also, what happened when the indigenous people gained back the right, the overthrowing, and what happened to our civil war. Those 4 things will be in the park. There will be a historical facts, information that will be there. So when you go, you can read for yourself to see exactly what happened in our society. I think the president was trying to reconcile. I'm not trying to, but I think he want us to reconcile everything that happened, the good, the bad, the evil, for us to come to a place and say, we have gone through all this, let's put this behind us and let's move as a country. That's the reason why he's building the monument over there. That identical place, we used to play that before the coup. After the coup, when they killed those 13 people in the pool, few years after, in fact, few months after, we used to still play soccer on that field over there. So that's what makes it very significant for the president to go and put that thing there and talk about the 13 people. Now, the other people that were killed other parts of the country, people got killed on Gurney Street, people got killed on Randall Street, people got killed at the executive mansion, people got killed at the University of Liberia. You don't expect the president to take all those historical things and put it in the park. The most significant thing about that identical spot is the 13 people that got killed there. And that's why he wants us to put that past behind us, because it brought division in the country to the extent we fought civil war. I mean, you can disagree with me or not. Because of those 13 people that died, that's the reason why we went to civil war. Because when you sat in America here and you heard people telling you that, look, whatever Doe do, we'll go and remove him. Mr. Toll was on Liberian Public Network when he gave a revelation one time, and it struck me. And I said to myself, wow, it was deep. He went to Yola Convention in the 80s, and the people came from Georgia, according to Mr. Toll, that they should overthrow President Doe. And one crime member that said, no, we can't do that. We can't stay in America and do what you guys would do to the country. And 3 months after, we were in Liberia to overthrow Doe. And what happened? People got killed in the process. It was people sitting there in America want to take revenge for the people that got killed in the pool. They didn't rest until they carried on our 1989 war. And over 250,000 people got killed. So we're trying to erase the past. I mean, not erase the past, but come to a place where we can reconcile. And I think that part is a symbol of our dark days, our good days, and our days to come. So we can reconcile and heal ourselves and say, okay, now let's move forward. Where people will go and play, people will go and laugh and enjoy themselves.
All right, you can stay there. Let me go to the guys. Koto, Samson, Amos, George, anybody wants to say something?
Yeah, let me just
Yes, I want to say something. Yeah, I want to say, it's a good initiative that the president is taking, but I have a reservation on that. We have a war crime court issue that is pending, where the president has the responsibility to bring the war crime court. That could have been in the same initiative of bringing peace and reconciliation. Because what happens if cases are hanged and they do not come to a closure? I mean, you're not contributing to peace. So this is where people are even waiting right now to say, okay, we are here to support, the war crime court, and the president is not taking that initiative. So how is peace going to be held when you take one portion and leave the other portion? I think they should be done in collaboration. Then they know you really offer peace. And I'm not that's a good initiative. But yes.
In other words, you think the healing process is on the surface. They are not getting to the bottom line.
Exactly. That's my point. Because if you say you're heal from the holistic level, not certain portion. When that's what we call segment. You start doing it segment by segment before you get to the other sector. It will have rotated, and come to the other end. So do it holistically. Let people see it from the war crime court. Then they know that you mean business when you catering to that, because that's not only our Liberian problem. We have so many issues in Liberia. So if you start from there, from that war crime code, they know that you mean something. They're leaving the war crime code hanging. And I saw one of the guys even saying, I am not talking about Ellen Johnson's involvement into the war. And I am one of those who's saying she should go to the war crime court, because I can't support her when she was involved. If she had to go and exonerate herself, let her go to the war crime court and exonerate herself. I'm not excluding her. Of course, if she had to be part player, let her go and exonerate herself.
So, okay. Let's go to Amos, Samson, Sisi, and then we want to look at if there's any political consequences, there will be any political backlash, because we're just talking here, we're just pulling the ray here. There are other people who are going to go much deeper to say, wait a minute, what is happening? What is going on? Where is this all coming from here? Why not have national conversations and see how it looks like? I mean, the president is the president. He cannot, he can take decisions at the best here. He's our president. Amos George.
Yeah, look, let me say this. The movement being talking about Mr. Akeda said all the people he listed, good. They play everybody All those were lists of people who wrote in Liberia. Tower, the one that accepted multi-party democracy. He was the only person our Mornington that registered power at the time. He was the one who registered that party. He allowed him to go to the court and have the registration. Tower. So Tower does some great things. All you guys to talk about is fine. But what I'm saying is, when you talk about 13 people, you talk about people killed on Galley Street, University. It happened. But those who are performing the official duty in the executive mansion that died with Tower, why can't you say, okay, since that's what you want to do it, put a movement, irregular movement that those people that died April 12th, just make a general that this movement is in remembrance of them. But when you want to come and take single group of people, then now what someone got a problem with, because there are other people who are performing the official duty, was killed there on duty, and many people have not even come on. They don't even acknowledge those people.
I gotta put this number out here so that we can go ahead, Josh.
It's called to say, good. I mean, she said something I support. And someone have been making the noise. You can pay all the women on that beach. Let me tell somebody, you can pay all the women there. For me, my heart is still bleeding. Because why? My 1-year-old son was massacred, was burned on Dupo Road. I don't know his grave. I can't tell anybody. So you think, the Reggie women there, there's no war crime code. You think I feel happy? No. Because today I live without burden. I got 110 questions I ask myself and I cannot answer it. Because I always say, a 1-year-old child, no sin. He didn't harm anybody. But they were burned in the house. What did he do? For me, okay. If what I would say, maybe I rubbed shoulder with somebody, so maybe it was time maybe they said they can get to me. But my 1-year-old child, you think you baby went in that place to say reconciliation? No. Until there is accountability for people who committed heinous crime in Liberia. And that can only be done by establishing the War and Economic Crime Code. Because everybody can be violent. My mom used to say, you cannot go and, it's not so in store. Anybody can do it. But me now decide to choose a different path. And that path is let everybody have a day in court. So the person can erect all the monuments, Mr. Kete. When there's no War and Economic Crime Code, there's no peace in our country.
Okay, we just want to caution our viewers. It's a sensitive issue, and we will talk about it. This is what about, because the more we have all those things, we're still not finding solutions. We kind of like try to brush them out. We saw what happened in this country. They're still having these sort of conversations about marchings on Washington, the 62, 66 march and all of that. They are still talking history, still reflecting on that here. The Liberal, you want to respond? You have anything to say?
Yeah, I particularly not quite. No, I don't want to be involved in this conversation. So you guys go ahead and talk about it. I'll be listening.
Okay, let's do a live segment, and then we're going to go. Anybody, any political question? Sister, you haven't spoken, right?
Yeah. I just wanted to talk.
I just wanted to add something, Soto.
Let's Sissy finish with his part, then I'll come back to you, Koto. Go ahead, Sissy.
Brother Keto, thanks for the clarification, because I think that answered a lot of the my concerns that I had, and you know, I trust you, and so I would say then that is a great idea. I do, however, believe that, you know, these things don't have to be done together. I think, President, we are building a reunification sense. I agree with you, Mr. George, that if you don't have justice, your heart still bleeds. There are a lot of Liberians whose heart still bleeds. But I think the president building a sense of reconciliation or reunification I don't think that takes away from us still pushing him to have a war crimes court, or the next government pushing to have a war crimes court. I'm one person I'm a Lutheran, and I was one of those people who was against the Lutheran Church in Cinco reopening. I was hoping that place would have been a memorial for the people who lost their lives in the Lutheran Church. But I really don't think that the president is capable or able, or we have the resources to go everywhere and put monuments. And that's why I agree with Mr. George.
401, hold on 1 second.
There should be, like I said, a memoriam where this rock is the rock that is here for everybody that died. And you can make it in a way where people can come and just use their lead knife and just chip a low spot, write a lay person initial on it, just to feel, my sister died in Liberia during and this is just a quick aside, during the Ebola stuff. My sister that's next to me, this little girl raised money for me when I was out of school. I was in Cedar Junior College. I couldn't afford my tuition one semester. She came from Guinea, made business up and down Guinea to come and give me money. She didn't go to school. She dropped out of school in the third grade because her father was a soldier and he abandoned her, and she was with my mom. My mom didn't go to school, so she didn't go to school. I happened to live with my dad, who was an engineer, so I went to school. But this girl who didn't go to school, I'm telling you, 1995, came from Guinea, gave me $160 US. You know what that meant back then? To go and pay my tuition. I was never able to pay her back her full weight. I gave her things, but I felt the full measure until she died. When she died, Ebola, all of the Ebola bodies were burned. I have nowhere to go to sit and memorialize her. So the only thing I could do was to get a tattoo on my body, the only tattoo on my body in memory of her. So I think what Mr. George is talking about, and I think hopefully the president would think about that, and I think Mr. Keto maybe talk about that, is that we have it doesn't have to be fancy. Put a big,
We're getting some volumes of call here.
Yeah. So the last thing I got to say is, Trotman had unification policy when the indigenous people were not even voting. We accepted it. Can we do this and see if we can push for war crimes code later? I mean, even while we're accepting it,
Okay, so let's get reaction. Koto, I'm going to be coming to you, but let's get reaction from our viewers, from our many followers. Let's include them into this conversation, all things considered. Let me come to my own state here, Ocean State. Rhode Island number is here, 401 number 7852. Caller, good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
It says 1243.
401 497 7852. The last.
Oh, no, that's not me. That's somebody else.
Okay. All right. Yeah, then there's the 410 401, the all way. Okay, but in the meantime, I don't know, the person muted. So go ahead here at the last number. Let me see here. 1243. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Oh, yes, sir. Good evening, family. This is Joseph Conto, and I'm calling you from the great city of Columbia, Maryland.
Mr. JC, good evening. Welcome, buddy.
Thank you so much for the show. I've been following. I was driving from North Carolina to Maryland. I just made it to my destination, and I thought
thank God. How's the weather? Weather looking crazy from the East Coast here. How everything there?
It's okay. It's okay. It's kind of warm over here. It's not cold, so that's good.
Okay.
Hey, there's an issue. The topic tonight is very interesting, especially when you talk about the generation of today, talking about George Weah is the only president who have done so much. Everything about Liberia that George Weah have done is the first time it have been done in Liberia. And my reaction to that is that those who are saying these things, they don't really know what Liberia once was as compared to now. Let me talk about the late President William R. Tolbert. William R. Tolbert, when he became president.
Make it brief because the line is flipping up here, so that.
Hello?
Yeah. But I said just make it a little brief so that we go to.
It's going to be very brief. Okay. It was Tolbert himself. It was Tolbert who reduced the presidential term for life term to 2 8-year term, and he said he cannot be president for life in order for him to serve his people. So his term ended in 1983, as we thought he wasn't going to stand up for re-election. And that was the reason why he allowed a multi-party democracy for the the progressive to form political party and what have you.
Right.
Speaking about development, it was Tauber who constructed all the vocational institute in Liberia, like the MVDC and what have you.
Right.
The multilateral high schools across the nation. You talk about the National Youth Training Center. That area is in Benton City today. Since the death of Tauber, it has been destroyed. It stayed there lying in ruin. Now, when we come up to this thing about the war crime court and what have you, the war crime court, we need it. We really need it because those who committed the greatest atrocity in our country are the people we are praising today, are the people we are worshiping today. I listened to President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, but then Mr. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, BBC interview in July of 1990.
In 30 seconds.
Yeah. And she ordered Charles Taylor and the MPFL to level Moravia. And I've been a military man. The only person who can give that order is someone who has his or her army on the battlefield that will give that kind of order. So therefore, that statement put Ellen Johnson Sirleaf in control of the MPFL when she made that statement. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Thank you so much, guys. Let's see here. Let's see if we can make more accommodation here. This is quite fascinating. 401 number 7852. Are you there? 401 7852. Okay, I think he kept calling on this other side. Okay, Koto, go make your point, and then until another caller can come in, and we will.
Thank you, Mr. So. I listened to our brother Whitton trying to give detailed explanation concerning the billing of the monument. But can we get that explanation? We only hear from individuals. We want to have this thing posted that we will read about it to know what it's all about. Where do I read about it to know that what he's saying is actually true? And this is where we have problem with this government not publishing, not coming up with information. If you don't come up with the information to explain why you are doing, nobody knows what you are doing. And secondly, just what I was saying about not knowing what Liberia was, and I brought it up today, and this is serious problem because if they don't know what Liberia was, you see, every now and then when Carrasco this is the first time this happened. This is the first time this happened. Because he does not know that these things actually happen. Okay? Let him know what happened as compared to what is being done now. But as far as they're concerned, this is the only time that things like this have ever happened in their life. When Carrasco really know about Liberia, we know about Liberia. We even some of us grew up in zinc houses, but these zinc houses have everything. What's the facility? We have televisions. We have I mean everything that we could use in our little zinc shacks. Then we were living in. But many of the houses today do not have, so they don't know what Liberia have. I know my niece and my nephew that went to medical college today. They are doctors right now in Liberia. That Ellen sent them to go to college. We know about Todwell, who sent a lot of students out of Liberia to go to college. So those are things that they don't know. So all they know this is the first time it ever happened.
Okay, let's change gear here this evening in the last and final segment here before we wrap up here. So, sister, let me just come to you here because you say your guy, you seem to be in direct communication, which of course, at least we can get these sort of sources of information. You said what, 53 town halls sitting?
53 town halls meetings in both counties.
So let me ask you, out of those 53, that is Grand Bassa and River Says, do you gather any information as to what at in those visits, those town hall, what you were asked, hey, who is here by your side? Because I do know people running from Grand Bassa, other people are contesting from River says. Do you know what that question was posed? And if, out of ignorance, if you think that such a question was posed, hey, Mr. Councilor, who you have yet? We have people contesting for Senator River says. Who do you have from River says? Yeah. And the reason I kept stressing this thing here too, that's another strategy to even stress out and to eye more vote, because those people that other than tomorrow, whether Gonglo, the president re-elected, or boycott, they will not have access to the they will not have access. But when you have a son, you have a daughter is elected as a representative, as a senator, then it means that person even going to be doing your dirty work there. They will be talking about that person. And I know people say it's still soon here, but I see this as a big gap on the part of the opposition, that they cannot come with people to lift their hand, to make their presence to be consistently felt on ground. Then all of the time they're going to have time to be going back there. There are other things they're going to be doing. Do you know what are they? That's such a kind of question we're asking.
No.
Do you think it's a fair question, first of all?
Well, it is a fair question. To the best of my knowledge, that question never came up. And I've been one person on this platform saying that the political parties need to, every political party need to release the list of the candidates that came out of their conventions for the legislature. So that the Liberian people and us talking heads can start to look into these people and invite them so people can hear from them and to be able to make informed decisions. But beyond that, if you have a representative in District X, then you, the presidential candidate, don't always have to go to District X.
Exactly.
The representative there, by campaigning for him or herself, will also be campaigning for you, because they're talking about you at the top.
Right.
It makes a lot of electioneering sense. It is not happening. All I can say to you is that Councilor Gonglo is an institutionalist to a fault, and so he believes that the LPP. I'm just being truthful to you.
It's so hard to track down politicians.
To me, I am telling you that is to a fault, because he believes that the LPP, because he's not the head of the LPP. I don't even think the LPP got a political leader as a position. So they have a presidential candidate. And so the LPP party structure is the one that's going to determine who are running in those places and in those seats. And that is the reason, even when we talk about collaboration, the councilor always says a collaboration cannot be between a candidate and a candidate. It has to be between a political party and another political party. It got to be institutionalized so that you don't have this breakup when one person gets there and say, I'm leaving. It has to be the institution that is committed. And so to your question real quick, that is a fair question. Should have come up. To the best of my knowledge, it did not come up.
Okay, liberals, you're not a guy who can be spectators, and we do respect your view of not. I hope not to talk here, but let me read this here. It sounds so a little bit long, but more or less, I want you to be part of it. I was in the conversation chat, and I threw that in the group chat today of a former senator who is from the opposition column, opposition black. He hopes to appear here at some time. This is what he said. What really disappointed me was the separation of JMB and Cummins. It showed the greed, ego, ambitions over the interests of the Liberian people. We as so-called leaders cannot sacrifice our ambitions and ego to come together to make a sustainable environment for prosperity and growth of our people and country, knowing fully well the state of the nation. Why they didn't combine the talents and resources to put Liberia on the right track. The challenges are so enormous. It will not take one man or one party. My dear brother, he was talking to me because in long time he been out of the fries, and I just decided to pick out of him today, and he really brought it out. My dear brother, I have yet to see the visionary leadership that will get our beloved people and country to the promised land. Sorry to say, it is so disheartening. I reside on my farm and have not been in Monrovia for over 3 months since I left the Senate. I have not made a public appearance, not gone on a radio talk show. All I am doing is trying my best to educate 600 students from ABC to 12th grade and keep 150 students employed. This is my continuing contribution to our motherland. But thank you so much for reaching out. You really got out of me, and at appropriate time, I will appear on the Liberia Public Radio like I've done in the past. This is the guy from the opposition saying that. So it is ratings. Electors, voters are saying it. What is the hold up? If they all claim that this guy should be replaced, should be removed, and it's just, I don't see the path that 1 or 2% can do. This is a person who been in the Senate, who's a strong voice, who was a strong voice in the opposition writing days.
Yep, Mr. So once again, I thank you very much for bringing that up. But then this is what baffles me about our brothers and sisters, including myself. But at least I have tried my best to express my view on this. And here's the problem that I have with our brothers and sisters, that when you call back home, engage some of the intellectuals, they will bring it up very quickly. They will say the fact that the opposition are unable to come together at this time, it will give a free pass to President Weah to be reelected. But what they're not mentioning and what they have failed to do, from my perspective, is that opposition or even a marriage require two people to be involved and be able to be on the same page. At the same time, they also require compromise. So in this particular situation where brothers and sisters will be saying these things, they have the right to say it. But here's what concerned me. They should have gotten involved from the initial stage when the whole debacle started.
They who?
Those who are now saying, requiring the opposition to join together. We all sat here when the opposition came to being without actually crafting a real document that perhaps somebody.
Oh, hold on. Who's that? Oh, hold on.
You forgot about me.
Oh, somebody on the phone.
In my way.
Oh my goodness! I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Is that Derek? I'm so sorry. Lebron, can he please? I forgot completely.
Yeah, please go ahead. Go ahead. I know where I stopped.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, my dear brother. You know, sometimes people. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. So thank you, Mr. Thank you for the opportunity. So I think it's about time that we put this whole opposition, coming together to rest. Okay. This is beating a dead horse.
Right.
I mean, at this point, if Liberians can't look among those four candidates and make an informed decision, then there is no point, because again, I told you about the blind resume test last night. If you did 4 resume of these 4 people credentials, just we have resume will be thrown into the trash right away. First of all, right? So that's number 1. Number 2, Mr. Blanca, he's the old man in the room, so he can finesse his way, but you can remember, 2017, there's a reason why Mr. Cummings and Mr. Brodsky did not come up publicly to endorse him. Because in a circle, this man cannot be trusted. Because Mr. Brodsky has a tip out criticizing Mr. Blanca money they received in 3 years versus the money that the University of Lpr received in the same 3-year period. Okay? So this thing is deep. This man, people that are closer do not trust this man. So going as VP to Mr. Blanca, your entire ambition could be, buried, because why? You may bring your own people there around. All of a sudden, as a vice president, boom, you can't do nothing. Okay? So let the people that go on their own. We have 5 million people. Let them go find their own supporters and let the election go on. Right? And now coming to the CDC. The CDC, they are intentionally, unreasonable. So you have to deal with it. For me, I call it chick. You got to deal with it in a chicken way, because they will just make, outrageous statement and then force it down your throat. If you don't have a response to them, they end up winning you. That's how now they have cornered, oh, you jealous over the man. I saw you say something, oh, you jealous over the man. So for me, one of them told me, say he's jealous over the man. No, I told him, I said, I'll be jealous over the man. Everything the man guy is stole for me, I work for my own, so I richer than the man. So we have to start kicking the situation out. And Mr. Gongo did the same thing. They say, oh, this thing not happy and not happy before. Mr. Gongo say that's true. This man is the first man I've ever built the most houses in Liberia. This man is the first man I ever stole. So you have to be able to deal with sedition. The same way sedition will bring the talk to you, you have to be able to respond to them, else they'll end up beating you down with their unnecessary statement and stuff like that. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Who's there? Okay, thank you so much.
Keto was on. Keto not on no more.
Keto is still there? Keto? Hello, Keto, are you there? Okay, Liberal, go ahead. I see.
Yeah, as I was saying, so for me, for these people now to say that Josh Weah might be re-elected if the opposition don't come together, I think at this stage is something that perhaps they should have thought of, because like I stated earlier, when the opposition came together, they crafted documents that were not quite airtight. Number one, and secondly, when the conflict of document being here and there started, when Costa took on airway for months, insulting Honorable Cummings, none of these people were able to come on and say, you can't do this. We will need each other tomorrow. Nobody was saying that. Nobody will recognize, except for a few of us. But nobody was coming up to say we can't destroy ourselves because we're going to need each other tomorrow. So some other people were suggesting that this was something that was being put out there by President Weah to split the powerful opposition. But then I found out how to believe, because I know the opposition, most of them are in fight, most of the leadership, all of the leadership are educated. So, but right now, I think let's forget about this coming together because it's not. I don't believe it's going to happen, and let's see what let it chip me for whatever it is, and whoever wins, fine. But here's the interesting thing about that: if these two gentlemen, Ambassador Bakar and Honorable Cummings, don't win the election, their presidency aspiration in Liberia is finished. And in fact, Cummings told us that. And I believe Bakar have also stated that. And so if none of these people will be able to put Liberia first, I think I was here one day, I was so upset with the breaking up of this whole opposition stuff, that I went
that document right on this network here. Amos Josh here, when we frowned on the flaws in that document.
So why will you now go back? The Liberal been very quiet. The Liberal been very quiet. It's not because I am unable to respond. Why will you try to I'm not about ready to eat crow here on that one. And I'm not even going to.
Force. This is another bad night for you. You don't talk like that. That's not how the Samson told that I know. That's not how you talk.
Mr. So characterize it as any way you want it. But my point here is, let's leave this thing alone. Let those who going to seek election presidency, let them go ahead. Dr. We are going to seek re-election. Fine. Dr. Bakar think he can beat Dr. Weah and Cummings and Honorable Councilor Gonglo. Fine. Councilor Gonglo think he can win. Fine. This is our country. As I said before, we're not going to go to Guinea and go borrow politicians to come politics in Liberia. These are our brothers, and let them have fun. If they can afford it, let them. Those of us who will support whoever we want to support, we will. But at this time, to talk about collaboration and cooperation, they can cooperate, but to collaborate with each other at this time,
so,
I think
we are wrapping
it's
on
too
here.
fast.
So, gentlemen, lady, it seems to me trust It's a key thing in this thing. And we're seeing how it being played out here in right before our very eyes. McCarthy is struggling right now because of lack of trust. People, they don't trust him. Certain group within the people don't trust him. So it looks like the boycott, the comments, perhaps coming in his own word, whatever ploy, political ploy, he was humiliated. They did their part. No one stand up like a big boy to put on their pants. Everybody seems to be wearing the toddler, pampers or diapers, and they are called as a politician. And this is where we are. Something told now, who's trying to a baby, especially here this evening, was one of those who defended that document. When Amos George and I was crying here, and I want to bring back some of these old tape and to tell us that we shouldn't talk about it.
No, he said, come and finger the document. Yeah, you were there.
No. I never stated that. I've always said that Comey got into this. Hold on. I said, and I remember that. Why you guys can bring out all of the old stuff here, that's fine. But what I've stated and what I've continued to say, Comey got into the relationship without verifying.
Yes.
He came in with trust, without asking how deadly Liberian politics was. And so he trusted the people. And the people he trusted, they decided to flip. That's what I've always stated. I'm not one of those who say Comey finger the documents. I'm not one of those.
Only his son were talking that, but he was always.
Mr. So, can we talk something else?
His son is backpedaling in Liberia. I don't know the boss. They can't push it. His son all want to play backpedaling, But that's a different conversation.
So I mean, there's no trust. Just a complete breach of trust within the. So it's like a complete waste of time. I think we need to get these people their platforms, their vision for the country, and I think we can streamline that and really have a conversation here. But go ahead.
Yeah, look, I just want to say something today. That 16-year-old boy that elected they say got grind the barracks. I followed that story very closely from the mother, the uncle, and everything. And the reason they said they are accusing the police of that the report was not fair and balanced was that the uncle said he alleged that when he went to see his nephew body, the upper lip were not there, was cut off. And he asked the police, if this man died natural death, what happened? Why this part is missing? He said, in fact, the police, the officer out there, they didn't even want to hear from him. He had to call Central at the 102. Then he said, when they asked the people, okay, can you deposit the body just across 14 Marietta Hospital? He said, the people said, they're not responsible for that. And he said, when they went to the hospital, they told them, say, hey, we ain't got no place to put the body. Just take your body. He said he begged just to put in the ice that tomorrow people can. They said no. And he said he was shocked when the police said this guy died from drowning or whatever. And that's where the suspicion came in. And the poor people, they say, oh, they want to do autopsy. They ain't got to push. So that's the frustration. And another 16-year-old girl again, mysterious death, just during the Christmas week. And these things are happening. And we say, oh, the country is all right. Many people say the country is all right. But I tell people, I don't care how much development you do, when the people's security are threatened, they can't enjoy any of the facilities. Anything they will not enjoy. The first thing that comes to any of mind is the security. And that is not happening today in Liberia. We continue to have this mysterious death in Liberia.
Hold on 1 second.
Unexplained death.
Yes, sir.
And the second one I just want to be the time running against her is this Ralphie Howie. Samson told where he myself had a lengthy discussion on the road. We need to realize East International was a bogus committee. The table here we talk about many times. But almost 30 million are gone. And under the settlement, they're talking about only 10 million I went to East International. What happened to the rest of the money? Where's the oversight to call these people? What happened to the money? Now, the Liberian Pronac will take another bill again to reconstruct that road. Why the president is not asking the Minister of Public Works or the Minister of Justice to investigate what is happening? But yeah, God, people tell you, say, oh, the opposition are not serious. And I'm saying this thing here. These are lesson acumen people making. Oh, okay. What you want us to do? You got 4 people in a race. Because we are always the incumbent, Boakai, Commis, and Tenwan Gongolo. So if let's say George Weah, if you say you want George Weah, you cannot pick from any of the 3 people. One of the tell you say, oh, but anyway, what you want to do, we just vote for the man. No. This is what people continue to suffer in the country. If one of George Weah one was standing on you and you tell me that, I can say, okay, but you got 4 people or 5 people that will be running. And you're telling me because these people don't come together, so you will go to vote for George Weah, that's why you're suffering.
All right, let's leave it there. Let's have the other folks here. Koto, you want to make a another point?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. So. I mean, this is a past story. We know that the damage is already done. And this is where sometimes you always say, I have a backup plan. I'm somebody who always have backup plan. If possible, the tear alternatives I always have. Because if for some reason my candidate that I support does not win, I know there will be another candidate who is Alexander Kumen that I can support. It doesn't necessarily mean that since the opposition cannot hold, it means you take the very old one that you complaining that is not competent. And we continue to talk this thing. The man is not competent. You don't have to put him back. I mean, these people, we have competent people. It's just that there are many, that's all. There are many, and you can choose one of them. They did the same mistake from the 2017 election. They said they didn't want for United Party to be there again. You took, okay, you didn't want United Party to be there. They have a Liberty Party that was there. They had Kumin that was there. You know, but still they didn't take these people. Today the damage has already been done again. Can you continue to repeat the damage? Let's try to resolve it. Let's try to fix the country. Let's do away with what already happened and make a better Liberia. And I think making better Liberia is to come up with the alternative of getting any of the other candidates. If you so don't want Mr. Boyka, you don't want Mr. Kumen, there won't go there. And we have our sister there too. I mean, these people are there. Let's make a better choice today than making the same mistake. I'm not saying Josh Weah is not a good guy, but he's not a better leader. That's the only problem I have with him. He does not make better judgment. As a leader, you should be able to make judgment in the, if not instantly, but in the time frame that can be conducive to not cause more damage in the future. But we see that because of delay in judgment, persistence of these acts, continue to happen. And if there have been some action taken, we're not continue to have, people committing murder without investigation. Another thing is that we agree that the police will come out and say, okay, there was no foul play. Okay, since there was no foul play, can you tell us how the body, was extracted? That's the point I have, because people will check out, oh, no foul play, no foul play. If no foul play, how did the act occur? You need to come and explain to us. Something is not right. Something happened. Why? Because of the partner. But you said no foul play, and they will just come on no foul play.
All right.
How do we be satisfied with such an investigation? But this is the indiscipline or on trained security apparatus we have that cannot come to us in our rescue. So it's
Thank you
sad.
so much.
Yes, it's sad. And I'm telling you, every night I one person. I think you guys are. I always on the phone because my children are there, my nephews are there, my brothers, my sisters, and all likewise any of us here. So we all are facing the problem. We can't sit there and say because we are secure here and then forget about our country, Liberia.
Thank you so
So
much.
come on
Sister,
and say something to the family. Those are, and we sit there and don't do anything about it, but you don't know that the next time it can be at your door. That's what people don't know. It might be at your door the next time because you curtail it. You accepting it right now. People that doing it will continue to do the act.
okay, all right. What we will find solution to that? Sister, any solution?
Well, let me begin by quoting former representative aspirant Jonathan Kofa. He said, your mission, your vision, and your intention for this nation is poor. You don't get nothing to show, right? Takunje. And this, I think that is what the electorates are framing their thinking process on when it comes to electing somebody. What is your mission? What's your vision? What's your intention for this nation? And so I do think that, look, this whole idea of opposition coming together, I think I agree with the Liberal. I think it's a moot point. Yeah, I think if they could all come together, we just form one political party. The fact that they all have different political parties may be difficult to come together. The only thing, however, my advice will be is when you out there on the campaign trail, how are you messaging? Because if you treat this like a ranked choice voting, where people say, okay, I'm number one, I'm your number one choice. Whatever you do, if I don't even make it, God forbid, make sure your number two choice, your number three choice, your number four choice is not the incumbent. Then that comes to my sister Koto's point, right? Because now when we go to round two, there is going to be an opposition party that makes it to round two. Let that opposition party be the second choice of all of the other people that voted for the candidates that didn't make it to round two. That is where messaging discipline comes in. What is your mission? What's your vision? What's your intention for this nation? According to Takunje, it can be poor. Because when it's poor, then the people suffer. And on the issue of the death, I've been trying to stay away from it because it's a sensitive issue. There are people grieving right now. And let me just lay the framework, because I know my brothers and sisters on the other side, the sedition will say, this has been happening before. Fact. I was in Liberia during the LA administration. I was robbed. I still got a picture. They busted my head. 11 guys broke into our house with guns. They blazed siege to my house for over 48 minutes. I had to be rushed to Catholic Hospital. They refused me. That's the first time you carry somebody bleeding in the car to a hospital. Hospital said, we can't take the person.
Oh, come on,
they had to carry me to JFK and had a surgery, some kind of a papati surgery on my head. A little on my brain was swelling. I had to run to come back to the United States to redo it. We called the emergency number that night. When the police people show up? After I had gone to JFK, had my surgery, went back home the next day for the police people came. This is Ellington. And then they started asking me what all the people stole from me. In order for them to go out on the field to do the investigation, I had to give them my car, my SUV. I had to fuel my SUV, give them a driver, and we had to be buying food for them throughout the days as they were running around looking for my things. They formed the iPod that belonged to my cousin, and they say my cousin should buy it back from them. That was Ellen police. But I don't think the CDC has the right to do what about, because you told us that you're bringing hope for change. You are bringing this change to give us some hope. So the hope is that you will do better than what you met there. Information is currency. And information is a commodity that expires really fast. The police could be right in their analysis, but how transparent are they with the information is where the problems come into play. And I think that's what their family is looking for, transparency in the information. If our son really got drowned, can you give us the information? How did you arrive at that? Plus, I don't know, I don't understand this. I know how it works here, but I don't know how it works in Liberia. So anybody on this line, please disabuse me of my ignorance. The cause of death, is that determined by the police or a pathologist?
The pathologist, not the police.
So why is the police giving out causes of death?
Police deal with the criminality.
Right.
The issue.
This is where they create their own problem for themselves. Right? Because maybe there's somebody who just wanted grieving family to have closure real quick and say, oh, the person, here it is. And then speaking out of your profession creates problem, creates doubt. I am not here to say that the police did not do due diligence. I'm just saying that information and transparency and the way you lay it out can create doubt. And sometimes you might be doing things with clean heart and people will accuse you of foul play. So my thing is, this has been happening before, but this government ought to be able to change that, because that's what they promised us, to give us some change so we can have hope that the system will work.
Thank you so much. Let's go to the constitution state. What a pro-government supported Wharton Carter is on the phone. Can join us via video, and from there the Liberal will wrap up for the night. Carter, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you've been listening quietly, patiently to your colleagues here at this event. What's your version?
Well, I would just like to say thanks to my brother, sister, Sisi. I mean, he struck a very good point, and I myself have been talking about that. The point of security. I think the government should do better by making security a priority in the country. And secondly, like you said, and I agree with you 100%, the police have no place to determine cause of death. They should come for a medical examiner who will conduct at least a preliminary test on the body to ascertain that this person died from whatever cause that the person died from, instead of the police saying, when we coming out with statement. Because if the police says something and they go to the hospital and the hospital says something else, our society is so quick to jump to conclusion that they was conclude that the police had hair in it, even though the police didn't have hair in it, but they want to link it to the police and all that. And that's where the police get themselves wrapped up in all this kind of stuff. But our country is we're still learning. After our civil war, we destroyed most of our institutions. We destroy most of those things that made our institution credible. And I think we are still in the learning process, and we need to be involved in it. We need to make sure that these things are implemented fully. It may happen to John today, tomorrow it may be in Makara to you too. Like my brother said, I'm sorry to even hear that you were attacked in Liberia, because that is my concern too, security. And so I will give this government credit, even though when CC got attacked, we had peacekeepers in the country, with all of the different security apparatus, and we still had gun people going to his residence to attack it. Now, this administration is different. It's like he left by himself. Nobody there. The few people that were there from the previous administration, they are the ones that are still there. The crime has increased and all that kind of stuff.
But why more money to security?
We live in a war. But we thank God that things happening. And I would also like to say to my sister, information out there. And sometimes I hear people say, oh, the government are giving information. No. Are we listening to the information? Do we take them serious? Because this whole thing about the park was on the radio, it was on air, it was on social media, the description, everything, the blueprint, everything was there. Now, that's two different people we got. We got one people who support the government, that will listen to government information, and the opposition don't want to hear it. They will hear it, but they act that they don't hear it. And that's sad. It's about our country. And I would encourage my brother, Sisi, to tell his political leader, look, I know the political leader cannot win this election, but we can grow him for after President Weah. Because this opposition I don't see any credible people in the opposition. There are a bunch of people who
Are
are
you
greedy for power.
excluding Councillor Gonglo? He's the only
No, he said
credible one?
Yes, what I'm trying to say is
grow by CDC.
looking at what he's
My
doing.
man, I'm going to give you a
right?
fast to you. Let me listen to my fast.
Go ahead. Corridor rapper. Let me go to labor.
Looking at what he's doing now, right? I can see that he's trying to galvanize people from the bottom, and bring them up. I can see that he's trying to get the grassroots people, go to the villages and all that kind of stuff. Unlike our seasoned politicians that are around here that cannot even compromise. They can't even follow the example of the man who they call inept, President Weah, who was popular among the coalition, give out his right of being the standard bearer of his party to becoming the vice standard bearer and allowing somebody else to take the seat. Take the place, even though they were whipping the 2011 election. That's leadership. But nobody can step to the plate and say, okay, I'm going to go as second in the interest of Liberian people. It is in their own interest they are trying to come to power.
Thank you so much, Ketot.
And that's sad.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Okay, the night is about to wrap up. The only person who's good at wrapping the night out and sending her on with some bad dreams is the liberal progressive, Samson Blacko Brownto. Alain, is that normally going as a VP to Boyka?
She ain't got money, man.
But man, why you always let her jump into people thing? You were Liberty Party or United Party now? You now with ANC again?
I was Liberty Party of America.
Right.
There are only two people in that party, Liberty Party of America.
Oh my goodness. I don't know.
And who has his money, he just wasting it instead of keeping his money and go with
the people, they are not strategic. Yeah, go ahead, Libra.
Money.
I wasn't going to say much. In closing, I was just going to say good night. But there are times you take things very serious. The reason why I talk a lot, but the reason why I stay away from that topic, which was the monument stuff or whatever it is that they're trying to do, because those of us that know more on these things than what your Sekou Kolasco, I'm not too sure if he was even born before that time anyway.
Mr. Toe.
So there's no reason. I'm waiting for them to put something up, then perhaps some of us can take a crack at it. But we know more than what they think they know. They don't. And we've been around for a while. So these things, until some of us are no longer on earth, these things, we can reply to them effectively, which I have done over years and years until the 18 executed Liberian family, until within the last 2-3 years, they stopped bringing that thing up and calling it, I'm not too sure, unification or whatever they call it. And every year, whenever they come up, I come out to rebuttal. So I'm still here. I'm still here. And I know more. And they know I know more. And that's why I try to stay away from it, because these things are emotional. One other thing I want to say is that President Weah and they with respect to the opposition, one way or the other, whether the opposition come together or not, if the Liberian people say this is the person we want, it's nothing we can do. They will vote that person in no matter what. All we can do is to go out and campaign. And one last thing I want to say to the opposition: why perhaps there's no possibility of you guys even coming together again. But let's leave room for what the people call shooting case. Because if you go all out fighting each other, insulting each other, and then when you go second round, you expect the other people to come around with you, it's going to be difficult. So I think while you're campaigning, without you saying these people were collaborating or whatever, you say, if I don't, you start the process now. If I'm not successful going the second round, I would like for you because we're all fighting this. I would like for you to support X, Y, and Z, and not President Weah. You start making that case now. Now wait until second round, and then you start making the round to say you don't go. And other political leaders say, I'm not supporting anybody. And that derailed the process of his supporter coming in around whatever they got to do. So, Mr. So, it's a long way. Let's meet on Friday, and definitely I will take over, because I tonight I took on all 4 of you and I won. So people love me. You heard all of the comment they've been making about me tonight. They love me. And people, in fact, some people, they just love me so much. They say, Mr. Tour, don't say anything tonight. That's what I'm quiet for. But I'm waiting for both of you, all 4 of you. No, maybe there'll be more than that on Friday. But I'm here. I want to thank you very much for the show. It's a wonderful, wonderful show. Let's continue the process. Thank you and good night.
Jonathan will be here on Friday, and so will be plenty of people.
Samson, how about you doing it in 12 years?
What you have been doing?
Are you serious, Vero? We love Mr. Tour. Vero, stop that. Oh my goodness. Why would you do this to us? Vera.
That's my daughter anyway.
Oh, you call your daughter to program her to do this. I don't want to be talking about, you see?
Wait a minute. What is going on here?
I agree with Vera.
You are the man.
I actually agree with Vera. We do love Mr. Tour.
Look at what Henry is saying. Mr. Tour is the man. You know what? I'm out. Well, guys, I want to thank you so much for your time this evening. Look, whatever we are doing here is not going unnoticed. I think you saw the polling, the analytical report of people that are listening in Liberia, even then. And imagine the time we come on. Which schedule can permit, or in a day we having this sort of conversation, but we are working on something. I want to thank you all so much for your time.
We hit 1.3K today while live. So
it's something. It's the conversation. I want to thank you so much, Libra. Henry say you are the man. Who am I to reject Henry's stuff? This guy, don't call me after the show, because with this Henry and Vera coming here, you will not let me sleep tonight. I told you the people love me. You know how Donald Trump has some of his ministers?
Are you on Uncover Sedition?
What did the man calling me on Uncover Sedition again?
Yeah, Walter, my brother says is the man of the night. Are you? I hope you're not on Uncover Sedition.
He trying
to buy Sese over.
Don't mind Keto. And see what he said. I texted him the other day. Don't mind.
And Sese that'll get on people's skin. He will get on his toes.
Oh yeah, he said this. His sister.
Okay, Vera, thank you so much, and all of you guys, we really appreciate your company, your time. And by the way, like I saw, I sent a message to the guys in Liberia. We want to get all of the 73 people that are contesting those vacancies, because I have come to realize bulk of the problem is with these lawmakers, people who are not. I don't know how they are being elected. But I think it's time for us to reel it. We have been focusing on the executive, which of course is good. But the first branch, we shouldn't forget the first branch of government. Okay. Because if they were actually doing their job, they have subcommittees, oversight responsibility. If there's anything happened, to call these ministers. The ministers, they are just only accountable to the president, but they can subpoena those people. But they are not doing it. They all right now, some of them will be going as independent, but by the time tomorrow, whoever wins it, they cross over.
How do people do that?
Who they are, what they really represent.
All right,
I gotta say, guys, thank you so much. And have a pleasant day.
Okay, guys. How are you? Few minutes from now, I'll be joining into my birthday.
The bad weather in your state.
Few minutes from
it's
now.
still raining.
Wait a minute. Is that
already
is
people
a few
from
minutes?
Liberia calling and
I gotta go
wishing
get
me
ready
happy
for work
birthday.
tomorrow, guys. Good night.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
It's
okay.
not
Well,
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
oh,
Happy
Thank
birthday,
you,
oh.
guys.
Are you saying few minutes from now?
Yeah, January 5th
Oh
is my
man.
birthday, and we in it for we 10. It's after 10, about an hour plus. Now I'll be in my birthday.
Okay,
Oh, are you
Yes.
serious? Let's see this year.
Yeah. Few minutes from now.
we'll put a picture on Friday.
Oh, Friday before you put my picture. Tomorrow my
But
birthday.
not coming out tomorrow. Friday will be on, so we'll put a picture on Friday.
Oh, okay. All right, Mr. Josh. So I speak my Loma tonight.
We're thinking about this song.
Yep. All right, Mr.
All right,
Tonight.
perfect. We're gonna celebrate that. We're gonna celebrate. Thank you so much. All right. Well, folks, we want to thank you so much for your commitment. Vera, thank you for hitting those share buttons. After Solo, Boyman Backlit, and you guys are so much here this evening. We want to thank you so much for your time, for your commitment to this network. And that's exactly what we want to do. We always make conversation proportional here. Keto, he supports the initiative of the government. And I think everybody should be involved in the talking point of Liberia. No one should be left behind. We will not in any forms or shape. All we demand here is sort of a respect, civil conversation, because we all have good mindset for the country, but we have different ways of seeing how to get there. And in order to get there, we must accommodate different views, opinions expressed at all levels, and we can see and sort out what is applicable. My man Solo, Atot, and thank you for joining in. Sisit, thank you for always being here. You guys are the one that getting us to be what we're doing. And so, terrible good thing must come to an end. This is how I want to draw the curtain down this evening. By God's willing, we are off tomorrow. I mean, out of 5 working days, only 1 day off. Friday, the house going to be in full. Dr. Toronka, Otilia Joy going to be here. Amos George, the Liberal Progressive, Sisse, Koto, and the rest of the crew. Hopefully, Keto going to join us as well. And you, our valuable listeners, viewers, thank you so much for your time this evening. It's about the country, so we got to be patient. We got to be tolerant. We got to deal with the situation as it comes. We must be able to accommodate people's views and opinion. Not every little thing should get on our skin. The way the CA, we are not saying it like that. And if there's a need to have that sort of persuasive conversation, we can deploy that. We can execute that. I think that's the best way to do it. But I'm concerned, honestly concerned, of these people who are seeking the higher office of the land up to this point in time. We do not know who they are running mates. They are not lifting hands in the various counties. The first branch of government is as equal, is as important as the executive branch and the judiciary branch of government. And for us not to know people from the opposition side for the most part, if they are there, we're not seeing them. So why are they not traveling with those individuals or leaders that they are supporting? Why, if Gonglo is in Grand Bassa, Riverside County, why someone hand is not being lifted there as a potential aspirant of senatorial or representative for Riverside or Grand Bassa County? It's a simple strategy. Whether you do not have the resources or not, you have to get somebody there in order to stress the ruling establishment. It makes your message easier because those people, they have their own family, they have their own followers. They will campaign for you to narrow the scope. Just like when you go into Nima and if you don't have a son or a daughter of Nima County, for that person to introduce you to say, I am standing with Ambassador Boyka, I am standing with Alexander Comey, I am standing with Tiawan Gonglo, I am standing with President Weah. How you think your message going to kind of like cut through the gap? Because they will have hope in that person from their region, with hope of getting something in return. All of these things people talking here, they want something in return. And when the trust is lacking, is a serious problem. You see what is unfolding here right before our very eyes. What his name is, Kevin McCarthy, because the trust has diminished significantly within the Republican Party, despite of them having a majority. Yet and still, the struggle is there. The mutiny is ongoing. That he cannot get the votes required to obtain 10% in this country. So that's one of the things we all have to be very careful to destroy. When you destroy trust, to restore it's a nightmare. The talking point continues on Friday, right here, same time, same network, with Lpr-Tv Live with the panelists. Until then, I am Alfonso Zionsot of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. Thank all of you so much for your time, for your company, your tweets, your interactions, your comment, by just sharing the video, by just inviting someone, those that even call in and those that even watching. You all are great. We say thank you so much. It's about the country, so let's exercise tolerance, let's exercise restraint. And let us not alienate one another. You have the right to be a sedition. You have the right to be a unity partisan. You have the right to be a liberty partisan. You have the right to be an ANC supporter. All we request and require your authenticity and be a little bit honest to Liberia. If your political leader or someone that you support does it wrongly, speak out. That's what you have the voice. You can better speak for yourself than any of these politicians or people who claim to be advocates. They are advocating for themselves because there's a set goal, there's a target they are aiming. Not necessarily you. You should be able to talk for yourself. Take destiny of your own decision making. Do not allow the politicians, advocate, not even to radio host, to direct you. Look between the lines and see what is applicable, what makes sense, and make some sagacious decisions. That's what we want to do here. And this is why we are having this conversation. I don't care how tired we are from work and are coming from our own 1-2-1-2. We believe Liberia deserves the better and we must have this conversation. We are reaching out to these people to have a conversation to them. This is why we don't convict people in their absence. But again, the politicians are very calculative. They are very strategic. They know where to go. They know which network they want to go to because they do not want their soundbite to be twisted or to be banned. But we will continue to reach out. We have told our guys, all of those that are contesting the various seats, whether from the government, from the opposition, independent, as they claim it to be, we are doing everything possible to get them here, to give them the opportunity. If they will kick the can down the road, let them do it by themselves. And we will not in any form or shape, without hearing from their side, to adjudicate those people. It is unfair, it is unbalanced. However, in their absence, while we still wait for them to come, we will continue to have this high-call conversation about our country. Thank you so much. Have a pleasant evening. Bye-bye.
DJ Square Production Classic. They all don't wait. Don't wait. Don't wait. Don't wait. Oh yeah, don't wait. Don't wait. Don't wait till I die. Don't wait. Yeah. Don't wait. Don't wait, my brother. Don't wait. Don't wait. My sister, don't wait. Don't wait. Don't wait till I'm in the hospital. Don't wait. Don't wait. I'm dying. Don't wait. Don't wait. I need your help. Don't wait. Don't wait. Don't wait till I die. Please help me. Don't wait. Don't wait. Don't wait. Don't wait. Don't wait. Don't wait. I need you help me now. Don't wait. Don't wait till I die. Don't wait till I die before you help me. If you want to help me right now. Don't wait, don't sister. Don't wait. I said don't wait. My brethren, don't wait. Don't wait till I die before you help me. I need your help. Help me right now. I'm in the hospital. Lying on my sick bed, I just need you to help me one more life, and Jehovah will bless you. Don't wait till I die to rain cast and carry my body to the grave. I said don't wait when I die before you praise me. Don't wait when I die to cry for me.
Ladies and gentlemen, to welcome to the show. I am Alfonso Zienso, and this is today's editions of Lpr-Tv Live with the panelists. The panelists are here in full to discuss, dissect, and critical issues affecting our country. Welcome to the show. I am Alfonso Zienso of the Liberia Public Radio in collaboration with the panelists. They are here in full. Welcome to